Okay, so let's look at the garden, and then we'll talk a little about container soil. And as you can see, I've got everything cleaned up. I've got new bedding on top, new mulch. And, you know, there's a couple of things already planted. The bucket's on the right. I've got sugar snap peas planted in. Kind of hard to see from this distance, but I've got tomato cages in there for them to climb on. And the bucket's on the left. I've got some lettuces planted. Got a few onions that have come back up from last year. They didn't do much last year, so I just kind of left them and thought we'd try them again this spring. They came right back up, and we're going to see if they do any bulbing this year. And also, the wife's strawberry beds. Move you a little closer, let you see a little better. They're blooming. They're blooming a lot. So she's pretty excited. She might get a bunch of strawberries this year, and she's all enthused about that. Now, to talk about container soil, there's two things you look at when you're redoing your container soil. You want to look at fertility. Does it have enough fertility? Obviously, if it's a little bit of soil trapped in a container and you used it all last year, probably needs a little more. So, in my case, I dumped the first couple of buckets, the ones on the right, dumped them out into my wheelbarrow. I added rabbit manure to them, stirred them back up, went ahead and put it back in the bucket and planted. I noticed when I did that hey, the soil was still nice and loose and plenty of organic matter in it. So that was good enough. That took care of it. The bucket's on the left, already knowing now that my soil's in good shape, it just needs more nutrition. I just top dressed it with the manure and added a little light layer of potting soil over the top so that it had something for those little plants to grow in. And that's what you need to look at. You really need to look at not only the fertility, but do you have enough organic matter? In Kansas, our garden soil, it's clay. If you haven't added anything to that to keep a little organic matter in it so that it can drain well and it can hold nutrients well and also hold moisture after a rain, you need to do it. So you can do it all kinds of things. I use rabbit manure because I've got the rabbits and that's handy for me. You could use any kind of composted manure that you would buy in a bag from your garden center, wherever that is, Walmart or wherever. That's all handy. If you wanted to, you could use peat moss. That'd work too. But the idea is, you know, you just need to make sure that both those things are taken care of, that they're in good shape. All right, well, that's about it. This is a quickie. But I just wanted to show you that, hey, I have gotten started. I've got a couple of things in the greenhouse, not much. Tomatoes are up, and those darn lupin seeds. Lupins are a flower I had not much knowledge of. One of the British gardeners that I watch is always talking about his lupins, you know, and I tease him a little about it in comments, and he teases back. He's a pretty good-natured young man. I can't think of the name of his channel right now. I'll try to come up with it here in a second. But it was funny because I got some handful of free seed packets. And in those free seed packets, I'll be darned if there wasn't lupin seeds. So I planted a little 6-pack of sales with lupin seeds to see what had happened. I'll be darned if every one of them silly things came up. So that's going to be part of the adventure for this year, is seeing if the lupins grow. Well, all right, that's it. You all have a quality day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.